Hi, Eric Blankenship with Blankenship Law. You know, many times I'm asked by friends, family, even acquaintances, what constitutes certain crimes? What does it take to show a crime was committed? Could I be charged with a crime if I did X, Y, and Z? And one of those questions came up not too long ago from a couple of friends of mine. They were looking at a house inside their neighborhood that was under construction, that was being built. And they decided to take a look inside the house, as probably many of us have done in the past, just to see what they've done inside, see how it differs from their house, what different accents, painting, and all that is being done inside. However, my friends, probably one of the biggest mistakes they made in that, not other than getting permission to do so, is the fact that they chose to do it at night. And this was probably sometime after 9 o'clock at night that they decided to go into this house that was really nearby, being built next to them, and to check it out. Unfortunately for them, some concerned neighbors saw some people go inside this house, and being afraid that something wasn't right, called the police, and police respond to a burglary or possible burglary in progress. When they get there, they call my friends out of the house. They even had them at gunpoint because the police are so concerned that this might be a burglary, that they had them come out at gunpoint. Fortunately, they were able to find out what they were up to, that they were there merely to be nosy and to check out the house, and all was well. They released them and with no fear, no harm. Unfortunately, this didn't ease their minds. My friends came to me and asked, could I still be charged with this? Did I commit burglary? Is the prosecutor going to file charges? And ultimately, prosecutors didn't file charges. And I believe, for the most part, prosecutors made the right decision, because the elements weren't met here. In the state of Indiana, to prove burglary, you have to show that a person broke and entered into a building or structure of another person with the intent to commit a felony or theft inside. That's a level 5 felony. If you break and enter into the dwelling of another person with the intent to commit a felony or theft inside, it's a level 5 felony, and then it progresses from there. If it results in bodily injury inside a building or structure, it's a level 3 felony. If it's done with a deadly weapon or it results in serious bodily injury, it's a level 2 felony. And if you break into the home with the use of a deadly weapon and it results in serious bodily injury, it's a level 1 felony, and that's the most serious crime you can commit in the state of Indiana, just short of murder. Now, what constitutes, why wasn't this a burglary for my friends? Well, they did break and enter into a building or structure of another, but they didn't have any intent to commit a felony, and they didn't intend to commit a theft inside. If you don't have all of those elements, you don't have a crime, and here you don't have burglary. And you could also argue that this was not a home. So if you break and enter into a home of another person, that's residential entry, even if you don't have any intent to commit a felony or theft inside. Just merely breaking and entering is residential entry of a house, but not of a building or structure. And here my friends were merely being nosy. They didn't intend to steal anything. They didn't intend to commit a felony of any kind. They weren't going to damage the property. They weren't going to burn it. They weren't going to do drugs, deal drugs, what have you. In light of that, they did not commit burglary. Now, what constitutes a felony? Most people think that burglary, you break and enter with the intent to steal something, and that's not the case. It can be that or any felony of any kind. Now, what if you break and enter into a house? Like I said, that's just residential entry, regardless of what you intend to do. Now, what constitutes breaking and entering? That's another important question. Let's say you approach a house and the door is wide open. You don't have to touch anything to go inside. Did you break and enter? Arguably, no, you did not break anything. You didn't have to use any force to enter inside the house. Breaking and entering has been defined as the slightest use of force. So if I have to just use my finger and push a door open, that's breaking and entering. If I turn the doorknob and it's unlocked and I go through, that's breaking and entering. If the door is wide open, or there is no door, or the window's wide open, and I go through without using any force of any kind, that arguably, again, is not breaking and entering. So there's a lot of things you have to take a look at. Did you have to forcibly go inside the building or structure or the house? Did you intend to commit a felony or theft inside? If none of those are met, you don't have burglary. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about burglary. I know it did for my friends, and luckily they never had to see the police officer again, never had to be charged with anything, and they could sleep a little bit better after talking with me about burglary. So hopefully they answer some of your questions. If you have any other questions, as I always say, give me a call, come in and visit the office, go to my Facebook page, email me. Feel free to contact me in any way if you have questions like this and you need to know, did I commit a crime? What constitutes a crime? This happened to me. Can I have charges filed? It's always best to know. Talk to someone. I'm more than happy to have you reach out to me. And until next time.